there, thanks for joining me. I'm Kira from KiraWoods.com, and this is the next video in the series on the suit of cups. Okay, so if you haven't already, check out the introduction and part 1 where I've gone through ace through 4. Now we're looking at 5 through 7. Okay, so just to remind you, cups, remember, cups is about emotion and compassion and care. It's about the water, the importance of water in our life. So therefore it's about love and friendship and heart and relationships and all things relating to that balance, dreams, wishes, feelings. Can indicate things around stomach problems and you know, who am I in relationship to various things in my life, whether that be job, home, ideas, and what is my emotional connection. So we've come to the 5 of Cups. Now this is you figure is a person who is looking, you know, yes, sorrowful and grief. This, you know, 3 cups have spilled over, and they are taking some time out to feel that. And that is a part of life. We all experience grief and loss. I mean, you're not going to avoid that. That is, it's a part of, unfortunately, of living. That whether it be the grief and loss of a job or a home or a relationship or a loved one, whether it be our own failing, our physique failing, our mental capacity, our ability to engage in the world, and you know, yes, death, there's death around us, whether it be our loved ones or our pets or so it's all of that grief and loss. That's what this card is indicating, and the sorrow that comes with it, because this card is talking about pondering or spending some time to look at that which has gone, that which is no longer here. The card also has 2 cups upright, so it's reminding us that when these situations occur in our life, there is always something that is still with us, you know. So I always think that's, depending on where it falls in the reading, and depending on what sort of indication it is saying in the reading, it's an important thing I find to reiterate. So, you know, this card could be around feeling disappointed about a situation or regretting something that has happened, something that is lost. Or you may be asking yourself, do I have cause for regret around this emotional situation or this outcome that has an emotive response? You know, I guess the thing about this cup is it's remembering that when grief and sorrow come into our lives, that they do take a time to move through, and so don't beat yourself up about it. I mean, that's not going to help. So it's like looking at, the question is this something that, a new grief, a new loss, something that I do need to sort of spend some time inwardly working through my emotional response, or am I having trouble letting go of something from the past and therefore learning from my mistakes? Because that's a very different kind of question. So depending on where it falls in the reading, I guess, are you caught up in the past and unable to move on, and therefore missing out on new opportunities? Maybe a question you want to ask yourself. Well, this card may also say, you know, am I having trouble forgiving myself for whatever reason, for my inability to recover from an emotional loss? And what place am I placing on my own healing and my own ability to love myself in my own heart? Can I find it in my heart to forgive? This card might be indicating something I'm holding on to that I need to forgive another for, or forgive myself for. You also might want to find that when this card comes up, I want to reflect on what has led me to this point. You know, how come this energy is around me? What is the message that it is wanting to give me? Am I kind of it's a situation, and a half glass is full, or the glass is half empty type question. But all up, you know, this is a card that does indicate sadness, that the heart is feeling some sadness, that there is the promising of something that still remains, or the promise of something new if I turn around. The question is, though, what is this sadness about? And is it something I need to spend some time nourishing myself and healing myself and being kind to myself? Or is it time to realize that, yes, it is time to also look at the promise of something new. So recognize what is lost, what needs to be mourned, but also realize that perhaps the card also indicates it's a beautiful day. So is the beautiful day something that I really need to focus on in this card? So again, how the card jumps out at you will depend on where it falls in the reading and the question that has been asked. All up, though, I always like to reiterate, honor grief, honor loss, that is an important part of healing, and the healthy side of sadness, which is an experience unavoidable in our lives. Okay, Six of Cups. Okay, this card, you can't help but just smile when you see this card. You've got this figure here of a very childlike or nostalgic situation, perhaps a naivety or just a wonderful heartfelt generosity, or perhaps a return of happy memories of a time when we felt we had this ability just to freely give. It can indicate, friendships, old friendships or siblings, or a natural connection with somebody who may be coming into our lives from the past, or somebody who reminds us of something of them past, the importance of something representing your past. It also can remind us that don't dwell in the past, particularly if the Five of Cups is around. So this is an example of where if these two cards are together, particularly if this one precedes it, I'd be saying, to the person, be mindful not to dwell too much in the past. So again, it depends. Or it could be that we've spent some time dwelling in the past and now we're letting go. We're honouring and thankful for that which we had, but we realise that it has moved on. So it really depends on how it falls, but there's nothing wrong with looking back at the past, and sometimes it can give us great inspiration. Sometimes there's work to be done that hasn't finished. Sometimes someone who needs to return into our lives because there's more work to be done, or they have something they can bring to us, and that's okay too. Because this is a very honest and genuine card. It's around enjoying the moment and living in the moment, and the sweetness and the softness of the heart when we live in the moment and we feel that fulfillment and enjoyment of life. Or it could be with the returning to the familiar, or using the return of the familiar to support us in our current situation. It's that very much that inner child, or that childlike sweetness of heart is the primary message I feel with this card. If you have children in your life, this could also refer to those children in your life in some position that they play, or something about the playfulness and the laughter and the learning that we can have from interacting with children, and how it's children can be wonderful role models for adults in terms of that openness of heart and spontaneity, and openness of experience of just pleasures in the world just for the love of it, like the beautiful flowers, and just going and running up and smelling a flower is just such a wonderful thing. You'll find, a 2-year-old doesn't think about it, they just do it. So that's what this card is wanting to say to you. You might also find it indicates perhaps a wonderful connection or innocence of a relationship that's well balanced and well rounded, of someone who's come into your life. So that could also be a part of it. Okay, Seven of Cups. Now I find this card one of the more challenging cards to read, and I think that because there's so much in it, and where it falls in the reading will help with that, and when I really try and use my intuition to determine this card and the messages behind it. But basically, the imagery here, this is, it's 7 cups, and this individual, which is I think more of an unconscious spirit, is facing these strange images jumping out of these cups, and they're all in a floating cloud. So it conjures up this idea of dreams and illusions and transition and mystery. And it's like this person's raising their arms up because they're really just not sure, And this represents, the 7 vices of life. The snake represents up here you've got the snake. It's representing wisdom and knowledge, and but there's also the shrouded figure, and what's that about? Representing sort of that illumination. And you've got this head, the head sticking up here, which is this about companionship or about others or conquering something in relationships? The tower here so this card is also perhaps about representing stability and power. You've got the treasures, representing about abundance and wealth and a need for materialism, or and you've got this wreath, which is sort of representing victory and honor and status. And then you've got this dragon, and this is sort of those sort of supernatural forces or things from the prehistoric times, or and so this character is looking at these various cups and is feeling somewhat perhaps unsure about which one is important, which one is the thing that they most need right now or wish for, or is that the whole point, that there are so many things out there that we're uncertain about and wishing for and hoping for, that is creating confusion. So I guess the bottom line is, when this card comes up, it's looking at what are you going to choose in your life. Are you going to choose vices or virtues? Are you going to be aware of what illusions you have? Are you going to focus on what you want? Are you going to be mindful of all possibilities and imagine? Are you going to follow your dreams? Are you aware of your inner search and your inner wisdom and your self-awareness? And are you going to take responsibility for that? Are you aware at the same time of all your projections and your illusions? And is what you're hoping and wishing for, is it a dream, and is it a vision, or is it an illusion? This is the question. And so this card raises a lot of those uncertainties around what is the message. So you need to rely very much, I find, on what is the card around it. Because dreaming is very powerful and very important, and if you aren't following your dreams and aware of that whole, who do I want to be in this world and what do I want to achieve, but is that coming from a place of clarity and a place of authenticity? So what's the motivation behind the dreaming is also another part of it. Is this card saying be careful of what you wish for, be mindful of what you hope for? You may get exactly what you ask for, and is that really what you want? In other words, is it your dreams or is it your fantasies that you're feeding at the moment? So basically the bottom line is that there's a choice to be made, and I often think the choice is between virtues versus vices, and there's a choice to be made around knowing what you really want to be and who you want to be in terms of your true self and clarity with authenticity. Because you have multiple options around you, and the question is, are you going to make a good, clear choice, or are you going to let them paralyze you? Is it that there are too many options, or can you hone in on which is the thing that you need right now and make a decision true to yourself, because from your inner self, rely on your intuition, rely on your inner wisdom to guide you, you really won't go too wrong there. I mean, I also sometimes think this can be the card, this is a bit of a wish card, it's like everything's available, it's right there, you can grab it. The question is, what do you want, and are you ready for the consequences, that if you get what you wish for, what is the price that you will pay, or what will it mean, So, very complex card that's only the tip of the iceberg. I could talk more about it, and I'm sure I will in my readings as it comes up in various weekly readings that I do, or monthly. So thanks very much. Have a great day. I will move on to the next video now. Cheers. Bye.